Because what is life going to be like? Am I going to reach my full potential? That is a scary thought, by the way. You know why? Because no one else matters in this world when it comes down to that. It's only you versus you. Nobody does. Not your competitors, nothing. And so think about life as a video game. You ever played a video game before? Say Mario. Say you play an RPG role-playing game. The whole idea of the video game is to do what? Is to move up another level, another level. And as the levels go higher, the game gets tougher, but you also become tougher, right? As you're leveling up. Can you imagine playing a video game with 20 levels and never getting past level 5? Can you imagine that? You know what's crazy? Most people play life like that. They never get past level 5. My idea with this video today is to get you to start thinking about what your potential is. What is your true capacity? Why not someone like you wake up today and say, you know what? It's about time I go seek my capacity rather than just living a regular life. So, a lot of times people tell you and say, well, you got to reach your full potential. And people say, what is potential? I don't know what that even means. You got to reach your capacity. Your capacity may be different than somebody else's capacity. You have to accept a couple things here. This is an example of 3 different human beings, each with a different level of capacity. This person's capacity, the person number 3, this person's capacity makes him right here. He doesn't have, or she doesn't have, his capacity, okay? This person can reach at their maximum capacity and give everything in life and above it beyond everybody else in a certain industry, and they can never compete with this person's capacity. And then you have these guys who have more talents than other people, who have more access to resources than other people. Their capacity is higher. And that's okay. You're watching this right now saying, Pat, I kind of don't like that. What do you mean you don't like that? Well, I feel I can be anything in life because my mom told me I can be anything in life. Your mom lied. You can't be anything in life. You can't be LeBron James. You cannot be Usain Bolt. You can't. That has to do with the body. Let me explain what I mean by this in a sports example, and then you can understand it for yourself. Red means somebody who is an underachiever. Say this is you. You stay here, you're an underachiever. Blue means you're an achiever. You did good. You went and achieved at the level that you should have. Green is what you were supposed to do, you did, but you took it to a whole different level. And you became an overachiever where no one expected you to reach, you reached. That's a whole different idea. Let me explain. Again, here we can talk about a guy named Muggsy Bogues. He gets drafted in the NBA. He is 5'3", 135 pounds. Let me say this one more time. He's 5'3", 135 pounds. He plays 14 seasons in the NBA at 5'3", 135 pounds, averaging 8 assists a game. He is an overachiever because no one in the history of the NBA has ever been 5'3". Shortest player ever. That guy goes right up here as an achiever. He's an overachiever. Let's put it over here. Shaq, most people would say, is an overachiever. I don't put Shaq as an overachiever. I put Shaq as an achiever. Why? You're 7'1", okay? You got big hand size, 24 feet, massive, strong, powerful. You can push everybody around. Shaq could have been the greatest basketball player of all time. Not one of the greatest, not top 10 greatest. He could have been the greatest. We've never seen a human being like that before in the history of sports. Comes in 7'1", 320, 340 pounds, and he's got hops and he's fast. He could have been the greatest. Off season, he put on weight. Never practiced his free throws as much as he could have been. What if Shaq practiced his free throw and started shooting 73% instead of 59%? What happened there? See, to me, he's an achiever. But Muggsy Bogues is an overachiever. But even though Muggsy Bogues is an overachiever, he'll never be a Shaq. Because Shaq at achiever is still better than Muggsy Bogues. However, when Muggsy Bogues goes to sleep at night, he needs to know that he's an overachiever in life, and everybody in his industry respects him. That's the part. So now for you watching, it's like, well, Pat, how do I know what my capacity is? What is my potential? You generally know if you're more talented than most people around you. You generally know. Well, you know it. You know it if you are. You generally know if you're just a simple person in your entire life, you've just been a simple person. Maybe your level's going to be not that crazy. You generally know. But regardless where you're at, You have your capacity, okay? And you get to choose what you want to be. So now let's answer the question. Why don't people reach their capacity? It's very simple. Remember how earlier I told you life is like a video game and you got to go to the next level? This part's going to make a lot of sense to you, and it's going to be difficult for you to embrace this. But let me explain it to you. Here's what it is. Everybody in life, if these are levels, at some level, you're in the top 20%. Let me explain. Everybody is in the top 20% of some level. Here's what I mean. Say you play basketball. You could be the best basketball player if you play against 7th graders and you're a senior, but you're the best basketball player. No one can push you around, but you're not getting better. But you're in the top 1% of basketball players amongst 13-year-olds, you're 18. By the way, most people treat their careers that way, just so you know that. Most people are 18-year-olds playing basketball against 13-year-olds. You ever hear a senior in high school that got into a fight with a freshman? What do you call that senior? A bully. Most people treat their careers that way. Most people with higher potential, they're lazy. They don't put a lot of work. Believe me, I mentor a lot of people that I've seen here. Their capacity is here, but they're secretly so lazy. They don't put the work in because they can wing it, and they're still beating this guy. So they think they're doing so well, but they're not. They're just bullying somebody below them. They're not good. They can't compete with somebody at their own level. No way. They'll get smashed by somebody that's really wanting to reach their capacity at their level. So they like to be around guys like this because it validates how good they are. Very interesting place to be. That's a person that never goes to the next level. Because every time you go to the next level, you're in the bottom 80%, and it sucks. Every time. Every single time you go to a new level, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to do with this one. You know how you play a video game? You get to the new level, you lose. But the level prior to that, I can do this with my eyes closed. Boom. Next level, you lose. Takes you 30 times before you go to the next level. So you don't like that level. You like to go to the level behind you. That's life. Every single time you level up to get to your capacity, you suck at the next level. We hate sucking at any level. You and I, we hate sucking. We had a visit this last week. I was in LA for a poker tournament. We had Kevin Hart that was hosting a charity tournament, and we gave away $25,000 to charity. I had Kevin Hart there. I invited Phil Hellmuth, and I had Michael Francis and 20 other friends. We had some of our executives. I rented this $75 million penthouse, 26,000 square feet, and we had a good time. Everybody showed up. We're playing a game. Afterwards, we go to dinner. I think we went to Fleming's. One of the conversations came up, and one of the guys said, you know what's crazy in life? You make the money, and then once you make it, you're like, oh man, I made it. What do I do now? The journey is what's exciting. I said, I disagree. He says, what do you mean you disagree? I said, you only feel you got there if you stop there. If you keep going to the next level, you suck at the next level. You're not doing anything at the next level. So here's what that example is. Here's a human being. They've reached here. They're beating most people. They think they've reached it. They have no idea that there's that level there because there's fear. And every time you and I, believe me, I know this from experience, every time people that tell you, oh my gosh, you're so amazing, you're so this, you're so great, wow, Patrick, wow, Johnny, wow, Steve, wow, Bobby, boom, you believe it. But you're not there yet because you haven't reached your capacity yet. We were talking earlier, and for me, a lot of people may think I'm an overachiever. In my eyes, I'm an achiever still. I am still an achiever. But Pat, you run a business, you didn't have a degree, you come from a divorced family, you lived in Iran with a war, you lived in a refugee camp, you went to high school, 1.8 GPA. What do you mean you run a YouTube channel with 1 million subs, insurance companies growing? Nobody expected you to do any of this stuff. Yes, but in my mind, I don't care what the world is saying. In my mind, I don't want to believe I'm an overachiever. Because if I'm an overachiever, I've reached it. I don't want to think that I've reached it. I want to know there's 10 more levels to the game. Why am I going to play a game that I'm almost finished the game? I want a new level. I want 2 more levels. I want to know there's 20 more levels above me. You want to know there's 20 more levels above you. What if you meet the best version of you? But can you imagine living your whole life never experiencing that dream, that potential, that capacity? What a life. What a waste. You know that already. You don't wake up every single day wanting to contribute to another TV commercial or another ad on YouTube or Facebook or any of this other stuff. No. You wake up every day, it's like, man, what if? What if I give it? Never be afraid of sucking at the next level.